God bless football, Billy Gill.
God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Stugotz.
Thank you, Mikey A. Championship weekend is upon us. Eagles, Commanders, Chiefs, and Bills. What a great weekend. I also get sad this time of year, Billy. I do.
Yeah, it's sad. Yeah. You know what makes me happy, though? God bless football is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. I'm happy because it's going to be a fun Sunday. But after Sunday, it kind of all goes downhill. It's a very slow, sad march to the Super Bowl. I mean, we're going to be in New Orleans for Super Bowl week, so we'll be there. We'll enjoy some of the fun that Radio Row has to offer. But yeah, like it's sadness because you realize that the season is coming to an end. And once the season ends, I can't say that God Bless Football is presented by Smirnoff. We do game days. Please drink responsibly. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. It's just a sad time. Last game of the year. There's only 3 of them left.
Right.
NFC Championship, AFC Championship, and then the Super Bowl, and then it's all over. And then after this week, things get complicated because if you do our weekly fantasy contest, which is presented by Smirnoff, the world's #1 vodka, please drink responsibly. And you can compete against us. You go to dkng.co/Smirnoff. There's really only 2 teams. This week there's 4. There's 4, but it's hard. And here's the thing about this week that is tricky. And we're going to get to the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship in a moment. Here's the thing that's tricky. The cheapest starting quarterback available right now is Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, boy.
Weekly fantasy contest.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I want to take Patrick Mahomes. Like, that's the crazy thing. And I anticipate it not being great weather. So I don't know what we're doing here.
I love that everyone thinks this is going to be like a shootout because it's Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and I have it as like 13-10.
Well, I looked up the weather because there was a time when maybe we were going to go to this game. I looked up the weather, and it doesn't seem like snow is on the horizon, but it's definitely not going to be 85 and sunny. So I don't know that this is going to be a high-scoring affair. I mean, I hope that it is, and I don't like the people that are like, hey, just because you don't score, 30 points, that doesn't mean that it was a bad game. Like, that's fine. But like 13-10, like, I don't think we're going to be leaving saying like, wow, that was like a defensive masterclass. This was great. Because if we're going to be honest, Buffalo is not capable of a defensive masterclass. So if it's a low scoring game, it's not because defense was great. It's because it wasn't a super fun game to watch.
Right, but the Chiefs do have a great defense, and I'm just saying every Chiefs game, just about every game has been a close game. Win or lose, all the games have been close for the most part.
Sometimes they're great at defense. Sometimes. Love Spags.
Don't say that about Spags. Come on, you love Spags.
I'm just saying we have some clunkers in there every now and again. You know what I mean?
We do, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anywho.
Mikey, you were going to say?
I was just going to ask Billy, what's the cutoff temperature for you to go to a game, Billy? Like, if you're like, I'm going to go to a game, but it has to be above this temperature, what's the line?
He's not. And
we started to get into this on Monday because of all the snow games.
Yeah. Right, but he's not never really got to because it's always 70 degrees in a suite. So
no, you're in the stands. I'll put you in the 200s because you're not quite a 300s guy, but you're not.
No, I'm a 300s guy. No, I'm a cheap guy. I'm a 300s guy. Oh, dude, you think that I'm like a suite level guy? Unless
no. There's a 200
out.
level without suites.
No, I'm a nosebleed.
He's a 300 level guy, Mike.
I'm a nosebleed guy.
All right, you're a 300 level guy. Fine.
I'm looking online and like I see the prices and I'm like 3 rows from the top is fine for me. Like because I'm not paying
that in Pittsburgh
twice.
You know how you can filter your search? You can go from most expensive down to cheap. Billy starts at the cheapest. Okay?
What I do is I hit zoom all the way out so that I can see every single possible seat. Yeah.
All right. So what's the line? What's the temperature line?
Yeah.
The cutoff.
Yes.
Is it just cold or is it cold in the elements?
Well, Billy, hold on here.
I'll give you no elements.
Let me ask you if this is acceptable. No elements, if this is acceptable, because the forecast for Kansas City this Sunday, at kickoff, is 35 degrees.
No, okay? I saw, and there's like a 2 to 4% chance of precipitation, and the wind was only 6 miles an hour. I did my research.
Good. I'm impressed.
30's honestly summer day. Day and
but
play
it's a
nighttime.
But it's a nighttime 30, Billy. It's a nighttime 30.
Get some hand
warmers
open
air
there.
30.
Right.
Yeah.
Open air 30.
Oh, I know. I know Arrowhead's one of my second homes. I'll have you
Chief
know,
Kingdom. I mean,
yeah, exactly right.
Arizona being the first, right? I mean,
Well, I have a number of second homes, so yeah.
What are you, Golic now?
I don't play favorites. Well, my second homes don't come with houses; they come with like quality inns, you know. Because in the hotel front, I'm also a 300 level guy, if I'm going to be honest with you.
You're just a 300 level guy, Bill.
Shout out to Quality Inn. I'm sure, you know.
Right.
You're lovely.
We're going to have Adam Vinatieri, Austin Ekeler, and Chris Sims joining us on this episode, plus the picks. On the TV side, we will go to Austin Ekeler coming up next. Vinatieri will be on the audio side.
Which game are you more excited about? I feel like the NFC Championship might end up being the more exciting of the two games.
So I think what's going to happen here is people are going to build up such an unreasonable expectation for what they think Bills and Chiefs are going to be, and I'm not certain it's going to be able to meet those expectations. I think Jaden Daniels is going to the Super Bowl. I really do. Jalen Hurts is hurt. He's injured. I don't believe in that Eagles team. I think Washington and Jaden Daniels going to make. So I'm looking forward to the NFC Championship game, to be honest with you, more than I am the AFC Championship game, because that game's not going to live up to whatever expectation I've created in my head. And what I've created in my head is this is going to be the greatest game in the history of football.
So it's 39 degrees, partly cloudy, 9-mile-an-hour winds. So 39, it's not going to snow. You wouldn't think. I mean, it can't snow if it stays
in
39.
Philly, you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. So that game is not. It's not going to be the weather we saw last week in Philly.
No. What matchup do you guys want? We're going to New Orleans. Well, me and Billy are. Sorry, Mikey.
Why? Unnecessary.
I mean, because I left him
You're
out.
just twisting it there. I don't know what
he was
you're
going
doing.
to say something to me. I didn't know how to handle it. I'm sorry.
Mikey, I'll tell you this. If it was up to me, you'd be there, like in a heartbeat.
If it was up to me, you'd be there. It's not up to me. Clearly, nothing is up to me. So, no, it's not up to me. Mikey.
It's a shame Fuentes left me out.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know, he's starting by you. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. What's the matchup you guys want to see?
Super Bowl wise?
Yeah, we're going there. Like, what do you want to see? What's going to get you most excited?
Commanders would be fun, I think.
I agree. I don't want to see Eagles Chiefs again. We already saw it. So,
well, Commanders would be fun because then we also get the situation where we try to fire Nick Sirianni. So, like,
right.
I like the fire Nick Sirianni after an NFC Championship loss.
And I think the three of us are pulling for our boy Austin Ekeler to get to a Super Bowl here. So,
of course,
definitely want. Yeah, Austin Ekeler.
So I think Washington and Buffalo would be fun.
Washington and Buffalo would be fun because, as we noted, Buffalo not exactly known for their defense. So we could have a fun, maybe high-scoring Super Bowl, a little back and forth between the Commanders and the Bills.
Yeah, give me the history. Give me the Chiefs. Give me them going for the three-peat.
Again, I wouldn't mind a three-peat. I really wouldn't mind.
I'd love to see
a three-peat. And like, if the Chiefs won this year again, even after their 15-2 regular season, maybe one of their more impressive Super Bowl wins. I mean,
some are more. You're right. Some are more impressive than others. Yes.
I mean, they had to go through. They had to go through the likes of Bo Nix to get there. So.
Quickly before we get to Vinatieri on the audio side and we get to Ekler on the TV side, what do you guys make of Cohen taking the Jaguars job after saying he's not taking the Jaguars job? Mikey, what do you think there?
I think it's clear who's running stuff in Jacksonville now.
Yes.
I mean, he showed up to an interview, goes, I don't like that guy. I'm not doing this. And they're like, well, we'll get rid of him. And he's like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
He's clearly the man in Jacksonville now.
He is. Well, Trent Baalke is clearly not because listen, it was odd to get rid of the coach and keep Trent Baalke, and so I was just thinking like no one wanted to coach Trevor Lawrence, like, but I guess someone does. Cohen.
Somebody's got.
He got Baalke fired. Billy, you good with that? A guy who's never been a head coach got Trent Baalke fired.
Goddamn football.
God bless football.
Oh yeah, I messed that up today.
It's definitely a new excitement to this game, and rightfully so. But at the same time, again, just making sure to lock in, right?
We can't
get distracted.
All right. Let me think about the Super Bowl. You stay where you are, okay?
Right. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I got people asking me about tickets and stuff.
Oh,
and I'm
no.
like,
Oh,
whoa.
boy.
I'm like,
No.
whoa.
We'll get to that. We'll ask you.
Whoa.
No. You don't call those people back. They don't care about you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
How have you guys sort of embraced the road warrior mentality? I mean, you guys haven't gotten a chance to have that game at home. You guys are on the road again. How have you embraced that?
Yeah, I think it came. I think DQ said it well. He mentioned just kind of using the home crowd or their home crowd as like an energy, and that's kind of how I've actually approached even just crowds in general during away games. Because at away games, right, they're extremely loud when the offense is on the field, which is awesome because you want that electric, vibrant like feeling. And when everyone's loud, it kind of energizes you as a player because there's just like more just raw emotion coming from everywhere. And so we enjoy it. We play well in it because we run a no-huddle offense. So we don't even talk to each other anyway out there for the most part. And so it's just give some signals, get lined up, let's run. And like I said, use it as energy for our advantage. You get a lot of the stuff is perspective. How can we twist this in a narrative for ourselves of like, hey, this is positive for us. And, us going no huddle, us using it as an energy, is something that we've been using and it's been working out for us.
Have you ever personally had a situation where you have to remind yourself, lock back in because the energy you're getting too excited or the energy's too much, like headed into the game. They're like, let's just like take a step back, like refocus.
So funny you say that because not recently, but like when I used to play on special teams, like that's a whole different mindset than playing on offense. Like special team is like run and hit, like that's special teams. Like I'm running like my life depends on it. Get down there type of energy. Like that's what I was running with. And that's how I ended up making the team and get myself into a position to play on offense. But that type of psych, like I remember like I would listen to heavy metal rock music, blast it in my ears, right? I'm getting ready. I'm getting juiced for this game. And I would find myself when I was splitting my second year, I would have to calm myself down because I was like too amped for offense where you still got to have the mentality like I'm going to run through somebody's face, but you also have to pay attention and hear the play, right? You have to know the adjustments. You have to see the defense. You have to know all the front structures, what you're reading. And so there was a little bit more thinking that went into it. And so ever since I kind of transitioned over to a full-time offensive player, it's been more so, okay, like let me get my mind kind of in a status of like really calm but aggressive. And so, yeah, I used to get amped up a lot, but not anymore since joined the offensive side of the ball primarily.
During the season and during the playoffs, do you get to take a step back and like admire what some of the other running backs do, like the year that Saquon has had and the way that you see him kind of like what you're saying is like slow it down, like not hit the initial gap, take a step, and then he breaks one for 70 yards. Do you watch film like that and say like, wow, holy crap, like what he's doing is special? Or are you just kind of focused on you and your team and kind of what you have coming up that week?
Yeah, I think one of the positive things about the media is they do shed light on, some people that are having some career years. And that's definitely something that I absolutely admire, not just in the running back position, but just, players in general. And I'm biased, obviously, for the running backs, but just seeing running backs have success and make a huge impact in their team and help their team out. Like Saquon, unfortunately, not this week, the time we ever play them, I hope they run for negative yardage.
Yeah,
right.
But other than that, they can have a great career and a season. So yeah, he's done that. And, looking forward to the defense, trying to put the cork in that this year. But yeah, him, like Gibbs too, even Derek, man, had a great year this year. So it's cool. And even Josh, like it's really cool to see, especially the guys that were kind of getting shuffled around and kind of, I don't know if these guys can still play or if they'll make an impact. Yeah, like the Giants, like, oh, what a joke. Over there letting this guy go. Prime Saquon.
Right now you have to play him, right?
I don't know who's going to pay this guy $12 million. Well, he's going to carry your offense. So, I mean, everybody. But anyway, so don't get me started there.
I'm glad he did.
Yeah, I love to see that.
You guys still using that text chain? That running back text chain? You guys don't use that still?
They broke it off.
Oh, no.
If we have to bring it back out, we will.
Actually, you could just stand next to Dan Quinn and say they're going to run it to Saquon.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I know their game plan. They're giving it to 20.
Austin, it is kind of interesting because when we first started doing the show with you, running backs were on the decline. And now the running game, a couple of years later, the running game is back, right?
Man, I feel like there's just there's the ebbs and flows. Like it was just like ups and downs, and it just happened to kind of be in a place where maybe it wasn't as of kind of a flourishing year for the running backs, and it happened to be that we're all going to be in this kind of free agent position too. And so there was this narrative spun out there of the devaluing of the position, and do you pay these guys or not? And it just it was maybe just a bad timing, because I feel like even especially after this year, it's really hard to justify that. Hey, running backs can't help you get to a place where you have a chance to go in. Obviously, it's not just. And again, this is my narrative from the beginning. It's not just running back; it's playmakers. Like if you have playmakers on the team, you should be compensated for being that type of impact player. I don't care what position you play. That was the narrative. I wasn't saying, hey, every running back needs to be paid, but the guys that were coming up on contract were those impact players. And we're seeing those same impact players impact their team in a very positive direction. So I'll still stand on that. Not saying every running back deserves top dollar, because they don't. It's just like every other position. But the people that are making the biggest impact absolutely do.
You gave us a quote from Dan Quinn earlier. You stole it from him. You said he stole it from someone else. Have you ever sat there like listening to a coach and being like, hey, I heard that somewhere? Like, has that happened to you often?
Not that's like stood out. That's like, right. Okay, I've heard that from somewhere else. But there's some funny one-liners out there that you'll hear every once in a while. But yeah, nothing that's like stood out.
Do you have any favorite football cliches? Like
favorite football cliches?
Do it in the playoffs.
Sheesh.
Do your job.
I'll keep it. Never mind. It's for a different podcast. For off script.
We can host that one too.
Yeah. I don't want that one to be clipped and it's like, well, Austin, shares this. I was like, oh God, come on, man.
I don't want to put any Super Bowl thoughts in your head, but I'm just thinking if you do go on, I'm just thinking based on what's happened to him this year, based on the fact that he's married, he's probably wanting to start a family.
I don't like
his
the
wife
direction this is going in. I don't like how this is going.
It would be a good way to finish a career. No. That's all I'm saying, man.
Hey, you're not wrong with saying that. You're not wrong with saying that. Like, I think that's appropriate. Yeah, absolutely would. But regardless, obviously I don't want to hear the word. I'm sorry. This week. However, yes, if that was the scenario, looking back, that year would be a pretty dang good year.
Let me tell you something, Austin. Real life sucks. Don't leave football. You don't want to get to real life. You don't want to get to marriage.
Then you have kids.
Hurts. Body hurts, but you'll take that pain over the pain.
Oh yeah, my body doesn't hurt.
Yeah, don't do it. Play as long as you can and enjoy these happy years, because once you hit real life, buddy, you're gonna miss football.
Well, yeah, I'll definitely tell you this. It's definitely special, and I definitely recognize this. And I'm in year 8 right now, so my career has already been long. If you look at the statistics, so as long as I continue to feel good and and I'm able to contribute, this is exactly where I'll be and continue to live this life, because it is. I understand it's definitely special being in this moment, especially on this new team. And when you're winning, it definitely changes your mindset, because we're human too. We feel the emotional toll of going through the ups and downs of seasons. And it's just like really everything else out in life. What is your job? If it's going through an up, you're probably feeling great. If you're going through down, same thing for us. But I think it's a little bit more public, so it's even harder from that standpoint of making a decision. Because I know you'll see some narratives of if this person's going to continue to play. I think it was Cooper Kupp is coming up on his contract, and some other guys is we got to decide if he's going to keep going or not. And those are real conversations, because the ups and downs and just having those long careers, you got to decide is my mind ready to go through a whole nother season? Because I even tell my wife, it's if I commit to a season, our off season is structured around workouts, vacations are cut, because I have to be regiment. I know what I have to do to get myself back in shape. And, have to make sure you're doing everything you can to make sure you continue to make an impact. Because I always tell her it sucks to suck. So you don't want to go out there and suck.
How much of a fan is your wife? How much football does she consume? Is she at every game? Because I have an idea for you if she's not paying close attention. And that is, if you don't want to go through the whole pains of another season, and maybe she's not keeping a close eye, maybe we just fake a season. You know what I mean? And then you have a U year where you go and you're this is very... Yeah, very regimented, and then it's just a lot of you time. You know what I mean? When you transition from football to like the rest of your life, and you just slowly go into it. You like stick with your schedule. You're just like, bye, honey, see you later, off to work, and she doesn't know the difference if she's not paying attention. If she is, I wouldn't recommend it because you'll get caught and it'll be very suspicious.
Yeah, I'm not sure that
away
would play out.
games.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I know just even on the back end of that because she already has a few vacations she wants to go to that we have to decide if we can or not. And so if I'm like, hey, she finds out actually wasn't playing, now she's like, whoa, we didn't go to Europe because of that, and so I don't know. I don't know if that one's gonna make it through.
Well, tell DQ, hey, just make sure that we have another 30 out there next year. You know what I mean? And then like, what difference do we know?
I don't know about that one.
Does Mel know all the?
Let me know how it works.
Does Mel know all the rules? Like, has she mentioned New Orleans to you? Like, what's happening?
So she didn't watch football before she met me. And so like I was like the first game she like ever watched back like 3-4 years ago, and she still doesn't know all the rules. She knows most of kind of the rules, and she really only likes it when I'm playing. So she's like, it's not as fun when you're not playing, like when I was out with my concussions and stuff like that. And so I know, who knows her football watching status after I retire, and whenever.
Or you fake retire, right?
Yeah, fake retire.
that was definitely not making it.
When you do, obviously not that we're talking about retirement, but like when you do you think that you're going to stay connected to the game in some way, or like stay following the game, or like are you gonna kind of disconnect from it for a little bit?
It's hard to say. Because as you mentioned, like your life does change so much. Like you're in a structured environment, right? Go through the regimen every single year, go through the season every year, but then you go away from that. While I'm in it and being like, man, like I want to break from this, it's easy to want to break because I'm in it still. But if I step away, it might be a position where I'm like, you know what, I might want to be in some type of, media position, or, calling some games or doing some, analysis stuff, or maybe coaching. And so I don't think I can really answer that right now just because of kind of the situation that I'm in. Like I'm in it. And I know when I'm ready to retire, it's like, I'm going to want to break. And then who knows how long that break will be. It might be a month, it might be a year, and then I might have an itch. Well,
that's the thing. It's also hard, right? Because like this is your life. It's just been your life, what you've been working towards the entire time, and then all of a sudden you can't just cut it off like that.
Well, you can, but like I've been building up so much kind of just equity in this stuff, right? Of my knowledge of the game, of kind of my name that's out there, and so you have a lot of value there. So it's easy to find opportunities in that space as opposed to going and starting to build equity in a new sector, which I am. You guys know how active I am. So I like to at least have some options, but I know that being around football is definitely one of those that I'm keeping open, that door open.
Europe, we'll get you out of here.
It's going nowhere. Don't worry about Europe. It'll always be there.
Hey, that's what I told my wife. Like, hey, it's always going to be there. So there's always next month or next year.
We'll get you out of here. Do you have any extra tickets, though? I mean,
oh God,
Austin, we're rooting for you, man. Good luck.
Thanks,
Listen,
man,
I don't want to jinx it, but I have you guys, and I am on a heater this year. But I have you guys beating the Eagles and moving on to the Super Bowl. I'm not trying to.
Hey, I got us beating the Eagles.
Don't
too.
say anything. I'm just saying it.
I got us beating the Eagles too, man. That's all I'm worried about this week. All right,
man. We're so happy for you. What an exciting time for you, for Mel, for your entire family. So good luck on Sunday, man, and
appreciate it.
Hopefully we get it done. You get it done and move on to the big one.
Well, sounds like if you got some money on the game, so let's do it. All right.
Oh yeah, no, I do. I have a lot of it on you to score a touchdown. So make sure Quinn gives you the ball when you're down close. Okay?
I'm always trying to score every time I got the ball. Every time. So,
boy,
no doubt.
All right, man,
see you guys.
We're happy for you. Good luck, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
No one drags out a goodbye like you used to, guys.
You always try and get that one last comment.
Drags out a goodbye.
Billy fed me the question. I mean, Jesus.
I said try to rap. What are you talking about?
I thought you told me to ask for tickets. I do. I drag out. I can't say goodbye. I'm terrible at goodbyes. I'm horrible at goodbyes. We have a lot of questions for you. Billy was asking, what do you do once football night in America is over? Are you sad towards the end of the NFL season, or are you happy?
No, definitely sad. Like feeling emptiness in my soul this whole week already. Right? I mean, it's like in phases. First off, it's like that first Thursday night. You're like, damn. Like Thursday night, it's 17 weeks in a row. It was drinky, smoky in the barn on Thursday night. Now I don't get to do that. right? It's an end of an era. And I get sad when football season ends. There's definitely an adjustment period. Like, there will be a part of me, and it already hit me this week, where I'm like, damn, we got 3 games left. I can't believe this. And then this week, even like, damn, there's no game on Saturday? Like, what the hell am I supposed to do with myself on Saturday? And I am one that's like, yeah, I've been known to shed a tear when the football season's over because I'm just like, I can't believe it's over. And I get bothered by that. Yeah.
I think Billy's calling bullshit on that. I think Billy thinks she's never shed a tear towards the end of the season.
Yeah. When's the last time you cried after the Super Bowl because football was done?
I usually cry. I can cry like sometimes like multiple times during a Super Bowl.
During the game?
I'm pretty famous in my household for crying even before the game starts, right? I definitely get emotional.
Wow.
It was my dream to play in the Super Bowl.
Right.
It was my dream.
Yes.
You know, when your dad's Phil Simms.
Yes.
And I also like sit there and I'm happy. I'm happy for these young guys who are like living their dreams. So like every year when they're in the tunnel or whatever, my kids look at me and they're like, "Are you crying, Dad? Are you crying? Are you crying?" Right? So I can definitely like, I'll have moments. It's not like I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah.
But I'm like, happy tear, trying to fight it back a little bit, excited for the moment, what it means. And I just know how excited those young men are to be out there in that situation.
Billy, what's that look? What are you doing there?
It's fine. Okay. I was going to ask that. Like, what does this cry look like? He's like, oh, it's gone. I can't believe it.
Yeah. And then, like, at the end of the game, it's not really a cry. It's more just of like, I can't believe it. It's over.
Yeah.
Like, it's an emptiness. I scheduled my senior cut day in high school. I got the whole senior class to go, hey, the random senior cut day in the middle of the spring somewhere. Let's do it after the day after the Super Bowl so we can have a fun night, Super Bowl night, and not have to go to school the next day. And damn, that was the best idea I ever had. The whole grade was like, yeah, you're right, let's do it. And then most of them were at my house watching the Super Bowl, so it was a good thing to have.
We've discussed this in the past, but the Super Bowl should be played on a Saturday, should it not? I mean...
Or they got to find like President's Day weekend, right? This is what they want to do.
Right.
They want to go 18 games, kick it back one more week, and then know that, Monday's a day off for everybody, and you get your Sunday to your Saturday point where you can just have fun and do all that.
Just to be clear, they're still drinky, smoky, just no football.
Oh, of course.
Yes. Okay,
I mean,
good.
This is Chris Sims you're talking about. That's a part of my life. I have to do that. I mean, it's drinky, smoky only on the weekends. During the week, it's just smoky.
Right.
That's it.
Got it.
I've always thought like the Super Bowl is exciting, but to your point, it's really kind of like even a sad week at Radio Row because it's kind of like a march towards the death of the season. Like, the season's over. Like,
it's weird.
Opening night is fun. Super Bowl week is fun because everybody's in town. You get to see people. You get to interview people, like hang out. But you know that the party's over on Sunday.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you get to halftime in the Super Bowl, and the halftime show gets over, and you're like, damn, we only got a half of football left. And it's like, I'm going to have to start watching basketball here a little bit, doing that.
Right.
It all starts to hit me. And then also like, oh, man, Super Bowl here. That means like in 2 more weeks, I got to start the draft process. So I'm a little bit of that too, where I'm like, oh my gosh, here comes the endless list of players and me sitting in front of a TV screen for the rest of the spring. So that all hits me too.
I was going to say the sadness lasts like 2 weeks and then you're in Indianapolis at a combine.
Yes.
And you're like, okay,
Right.
This never actually does end.
No, it doesn't. It never does end. But yet it's like a league year switchover. When you go to Indianapolis there at the end of February, you're really like, okay, 2024 is done. It's 2025 now. Nobody's even talking about last year. We've moved on, and it's like you just wipe the slate clean.
PFT with Mike Florio every day on Peacock, the Unbuttoned Podcast, Football Night in America. Chris Sims with us. A sad Chris Sims is with us here on God Bless Football. Bills Ravens last week. Just going back to Lamar Jackson before we look ahead to the games coming up this weekend. And there are 2 great games coming up this weekend. But Chris, the problem, why Lamar Jackson will never be viewed the way we view Patrick Mahomes, the way we're starting to view Josh Allen, the way we looked at guys like Tom Brady, is simply because he makes, in big games, not during the regular season, but in big playoff moments, he makes big mistakes that cost his team a chance to advance and move on. The other guys don't. Josh Allen doesn't. Patrick Mahomes does not. And that's why Lamar Jackson will always be third or fourth in that class of quarterbacks, and I'm including Joe Burrow.
Yeah, well, he's got to fight that narrative. There's no doubt. I don't disagree with what you're saying there. And I don't think it's because of, like, you know, what's different here is sometimes you have guys in that situation where you just feel like, the moment's too big for them. They kind of choke, right?
Yeah.
I don't get that with Lamar. I honestly think it's actually the opposite. He wants it so bad that it's like he doesn't control his emotions in the way he plays the game, right? Where you want to be like, hey, the ball snapped bad. It's on the ground. Don't try to, now somebody's holding your leg. He's trying to 360 spin himself out of it and still make a play. Right? Part of like playoff experience is like, hey, this is playoff football. Every play matters. A mistake can really lose the fucking game. And we've seen Josh Allen is starting to learn that, or has learned that. Like, sometimes just let the other team beat themselves. We'll play clean football. They'll beat themselves and mess it up. And unfortunately, that has been a big part of Lamar's playoff career. Lamar's so awesome. You see all the great plays he makes.
I love him.
He's
Chris.
incredible.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the greatest players we've ever seen. There's no denying that. But the playoff trials and tribulations, the thing that bothers me more than anything about it is in his playoff losses, and this is where it's different than other guys and even Josh Allen, I would go, Lamar was the quarterback on the team that was better in every loss. That's the more troubling thing, right? All these guys have losses in the playoffs for the most part, but like Josh Allen's losses were like, oh well, yeah, it was the Chiefs. They beat him. Oh yeah, well, Cincinnati was really good. They outclassed them. There wasn't like, like the Bills should have won that game. They weren't in the class of the Bengals. They were clearly the better football team. These were every game with Lamar. We're like, whoa, no, they were better than the Chiefs last year, but they decided not to run the ball, and he held the ball long a few times. This year, the same thing. You saw, I mean, the Bills couldn't stop the Ravens. They did whatever they wanted the whole night long. But the interception, the fumble, the Mark Andrews fumble, and then, of course, the 2-point play.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews should have caught that ball. But, you know, Mark Andrews is making what, $10 million? Lamar's making what, 55 million, right? The guy that's 5.5 times better, he's got to throw the ball on the money. That ball was late. It was not thrown with the same pace. He made it as hard as it possibly could be. Both things can be true. Mark Andrews should have caught it, but Lamar Jackson definitely could have thrown a better ball in that instance. He made it as hard as possible for Mark Andrews.
People don't realize the importance of that, Chris. Putting it on the numbers, putting it in a place where a guy doesn't have to break stride. It's a game of inches. We kind of make fun of that cliche, but it really is when you're throwing a football. I am with you. That is on Lamar Jackson.
Well, when the play happens, and if you practiced it and you went back and if we got to see film of them in practice during the week, it was a great play. It was a great play designed by Todd Monken, right? They did an illegal pick play at the line of scrimmage, and it's one of those where, hey, you pick my guy, I turn around, and boom, the ball's on me right here, and I just turn up and score, right? If you go back and watch the replay, it's, wait, my guy got picked, I turn around, wait, the ball's still not here, wait, the ball's still not here. Lamar takes a hand off the ball and pump fakes it for some reason, which was not necessary. And now Mark Andrews is like, wait, I'm running towards the sidelines. Oh, no, the ball's behind me. Hold on, I'm big and huge, and I have to turn my body. Oh, no, I'm very close to the sidelines now. I need to make sure I stay in bounds. Oh, no, he threw me a ball where now I'm in front of the goal line. I got to worry about catching it and getting it back over the goal line so we get the 2 points. So, again, like I said, I'm not trying to give Mark Andrews a pass here. He needs to catch that. In his room, he was graded negatively, but in quarterback rooms I was ever in, you also as a quarterback would have been graded negatively for that throw as well, and that's where it definitely could have been better for the Ravens.
Chris, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, I believe it was, or the day before. You mentioned how Josh takes care of the ball. He doesn't turn the ball over now. He's learned where they ask him on that 3rd and goal where you were rushing in, you look like you wanted to pitch that ball back and try to get someone into the end zone. He's like, no. It's like, did I think about it? Absolutely. Would old Josh have done that? Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's the part of where Josh Allen has gone a different way here, right? And that's where Lamar, I think, has to, like, Lamar, it can't be the greatest show on turf all the time. You're awesome. You're the man. You're going to make highlights. You don't need to make every play a highlight, right? Sometimes, like John Gruden used to say to me, don't make a bad play worse. And that's where I feel like Josh Allen's found the Midas touch with that. But it's funny you're bringing that up because I was just bringing that up with Mike Florio when we were doing our podcast a little while ago because, that thought definitely went through his brain. You could see that. But
everyone
he's like,
watching side is like, oh, my God, Josh.
Oh, my gosh, he's going to do
this.
that?
That's
like that. Josh Allen over the head crap that we saw early in his career or whatever. But I think he's learned. And I think yesterday, you guys, I don't know if you saw this, you need to watch Josh Allen's press conference yesterday because he kind of alludes to like the Chiefs, they have a magic of they don't control the game, but they control the moments, right? And that's how they win these games. You just go back to any big moment that's like, oh, here come the Chiefs. They're going to win this moment right here. And the Bills have kind of found that same magic. They do the same thing. They've won 12 out of their last 13. I'm not counting the last game of the year where they didn't play their starters, right? They out-momented the king of moments, the Chiefs, in a head-to-head matchup. They also did it to the Lions, right? That's why I voted for Josh Allen to be the MVP. There was just more moments from them this year and him altogether. But either way, that's where it's the clash of the Titans in this one. And the Bills, for the first time in Josh Allen's career, the Chiefs will not be able to play, we just got to stop Josh Allen defense. They will not. The Bills can run the ball. The Bills are going to win the battle up front. The Chiefs, for the first time ever, are going to have to worry about, we got to worry about the Bills' O-line and James Cook, or we're going to get steamrolled. And that changes things, let alone he has better support outside at receiver than he ever has before, too. And that's where I think it equals the scales in this one more than previous matchups.
Chris, it's funny because I think most people, when you see Patrick Mahomes taking on Josh Allen, they're expecting, like a 42-35 game. I think we could be in store for a defensive battle, like a 17-13 score. Do you?
I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think it's going to be like incredibly high scoring. I'm not expecting a shootout. That's what I would say, right? I think I'm going Bills 27-24. So I'm just going to put that out there right now. Yeah, I'm going to do it. But would I be shocked with like, it's two teams that know each other so well that there's some stalling on the offensive side of the ball and it's more of a game like you're saying, 20-17, 23-20? I wouldn't be surprised by that. I wouldn't at all.
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes being turned into game managers. I mean,
well, yeah. And like taking an old adage that I've heard Tom Brady and Bill Belichick talk about before.
Yes. Yeah.
Just play clean football, and most times teams will beat themselves. Right?
Yes.
It's sometimes you don't have to go out there and win the game. Sometimes you can just sit there and go, hey, let's play our game, and they'll f it up, and we'll still win, right? But that's where these teams are. They both do that, both of these teams. They both kind of go, we'll be conservative. We'll feel it out. We'll just hang around because we think when it gets clutch time, we're clutcher than you. And that's where I think it's going to be awesome because I think both teams have that belief that in a close game, they're going to find the way to win the game. And, of course, the Chiefs are the ultimate ones in that way. I'm going to go with the fact of like, hey, we've seen three-peats almost happen, and it's always the rival team that is a thorn in their side, that ends it, right? Whether that was like the Giants upsetting the 49ers in the 80s, right?
Yes.
Or the Niners upsetting the Cowboys and doing that. Mm-hmm. Or, and I know this wasn't a three-peat, or like Peyton Manning and the Colts, they were a thorn in the side of the Patriots, and then they finally got over the hump. I'm going to play that angle that this Bills team's motivated, ready to go, and the Chiefs just are not quite as good as years past, in my opinion, as what we've seen.
Do you think Lamar Jackson will ever win a Super Bowl?
I do. I do.
Because, Chris, I'm sitting here and I'm doing the numbers. I'm looking at the quarterbacks. Now Jaden Daniels is involved. Burrow's in the AFC. Mahomes is in the AFC. Josh Allen in the AFC. I don't know if there are enough Super Bowls for Lamar to win one.
Hold on a second. What numbers are you crunching here in this analysis of yours?
Listen, they're not exact.
He counted quarterbacks. He was like, one quarterback's good, two quarterbacks good,
Here's what I did. Here's what I did. I factored in, maybe they have 10 years left. We have no idea who's coming down the pike, but what we do do know is that Jalen Hurts is playing right now. We know that Jaden Daniels is playing right now. There are a number of good quarterbacks, and not all of them are going to win Super Bowls. That's all I'm saying.
No, I think the worst thing, and I think you're saying it right. You're along. Like, I'm going to say yes, but man, it's going to be hard.
Right.
I mean, yeah, Michael Jordan and the Chiefs are still there. They're there. They're not going anywhere.
Okay.
Right. They're one of the youngest teams in football. So that's sorry, everybody. Sorry, everybody who looks for the sixth play of the game and go, oh, they called roughing the passer in the sixth play of the game. That's why the Texans won the game. Like, what? The Chiefs are going to be here. Like, what a bunch of bullshit that is. The sixth play of the game, a hit to the head. They go, that's what won the game. Against the clutchest team we've seen in football for the last 5 or 6 years. They're down by 10 in every Super Bowl, and they come back and win. But we're going to go to the sixth play of the game and go, that dictated it. Okay.
Right.
Like, that's how much people hate the Chiefs right now, but that's how good they are to get you to hate them that much. But that, you said all the quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud to add to that,
right.
Joe Burrow, Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers are going to be a pain in the ass. Sean Payton and Bo Nix are going to be a pain in the ass. The AFC is going to be so freaking good. That's what scares you about Lamar's chances to get to the Super Bowl and win it.
Billy was right.
That was a bad call, though, right?
Yeah.
That was a bad call.
It was a terrible
call.
I mean,
they're all bad calls. They're all bad calls. Like, they're all the whole year. They all suck. I mean, I grew up in an era where, like, my dad literally got his head knocked off by Reggie White every week, and now they're like, oh, fingernail to the eyebrow, you're ejected, get out of here, that was attempted murder. Like, and I don't know, old school player likes the way the game's ref now.
Right.
But, like, that's consistent with what we saw all year. So, like, I've seen way worse than we saw that. He got hit in the head.
Right.
Like, boom, they call that. You know, the other one, he didn't even get hit at all, but the Texans launched at his head and put the crown of their helmet down. And when you do that to a national artifact, right, as far as a national artifact and Patrick Mahomes, the NFL is not going to let these superstar quarterbacks let big defensive linemen headhunt them and knock them out and fuck up the whole playoffs in the NFL season.
Right.
So I get that one, too. They all suck. But for people to be looking at the sixth play of the game and a penalty that happened with 12 minutes left in the game and going, they had to beat the refs and the team. Like, shut up. Like, what is everybody talking about? Shut up. The Chiefs are awesome. Just deal with it.
But you know this happens as teams create empires like the Chiefs have. Yes, well, people start. It was the same with Brady. Brady got all the calls, right? Exactly.
Well, and they got all the hate, too. Right, I said that today too. Remember, Brady got one in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs where nothing was hit except his shoulder. Remember?
Yeah, yes.
And they called it and gave him a first down on like 3rd and 12.
Yeah.
So this goes on. This is the era we're in. It sucks. I hate it. The other aspect of this is oh, the league's fixed and all that. Like, first off, the league's not that smart to fix everything and do this. Come on. The league can't even figure out what pass interference is. So you really think they got the fix-in on how to orchestrate the whole season? Come on. And then the other thing on top of that, too, that's just driving me crazy is, right, like, people don't think penalties were on the Texans that weren't called in the game. Like, that's the losing team always goes back and goes, let me look at a penalty that was called. The winning team doesn't do that. They won. They go, get the out of here. You lost. We don't care about the non-calls. We won. You guys held us and did this to us too, and it wasn't called. But we don't care. We didn't win, so they don't post it on social media. I think people forget that aspect sometimes.
How surprised were you by how poorly the Lions played against the Commanders?
I mean, obviously surprised. I picked them to win.
Right.
I think I was just surprised that the offense let them down.
Yes.
That was the surprise,
yep.
right?
Yep.
We knew the offense had to carry the squad because of what the defense was, the injuries, all of that. And for them and Jared Goff to probably play his worst game of his career as a Lion in that moment and then make some other stupid mistakes, that's what surprised me. I'll say this. At the end of the day, the Lions, I love their aggressive, tactics and approach, but this was a game where all that aggressive talk, and see, sometimes I just think some teams go into a game with the way they want to win the game instead of just like evaluating the game and then going, wait, let's play this way now. Like, the aggressiveness came back to bite them in the ass. I mean, the interceptions, they were all aggressive. The in-cut pick six, like, there's 4 guys there. But they're being aggressive. Throw it in there. Oh, pick six. The post down the middle before halftime, right, to Jameson Williams. I mean, he took 5 hitches. He was like 4 seconds late to throw the ball, but he still threw it. Oh, we're being aggressive. Reverse pass with Jameson Williams, interception. We're being aggressive. We're actually slowing them down on defense when we play normal defenses. But let's blitz and be aggressive. Oh, see it, Terry McLaurin's gone. Zoo, whoa, okay. So that's where I was disappointed in Detroit, is that they just didn't read the flow of the game.
There are 4 quarterbacks remaining: Allen, Mahomes, Daniels, and Hurts. My guess is the time you spent with Jaden Daniels, did you get the sense he thinks he's the best fucking one left of the 4 remaining?
With like humbleness, though, right? Like it's like
with a smile. Yes.
I think he thinks, hey, I'm as good as anybody. That's it. But he would probably give respect to Josh Allen and Mahomes and Jalen Hurts for what they've done. And I'm not those guys yet.
Yes.
But also totally would tell you like, hey, do I believe I can beat them? Sure, of course I do. Right? He's got that type of confidence. He's amazing that way. And that's why it's like I don't look at this game. This will be the toughest environment he ever had to play in. And of course, it's a good defense and all that. But I certainly am not like, oh, this is the week he falls apart. Not at all. He's incredible. They got an uphill battle. He's going to have to be incredible in this football game to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, especially with the right guard being out and Cosme. Now that's one less good player to block Jalen Carter, who I'd say is incredible, right? I worry about Washington not being able to run the ball, which then therefore is going to have to be Jaden Daniels surgically destroying the Eagles, which he might be able to do, but that's a tough task against that defense. They usually make you drive the field, long, consistent drives, and within that, they make a play or two that mess everything up. And that's what you worry about with Jaden Daniels in Washington this Sunday.
But I think if you're a Washington fan, correct me if I'm wrong, you feel pretty good about your chances because you have Jaden Daniels and because Jalen Hurts appears to be hurt.
You feel good, too, because you go, wait, we're playing our best ball. And, yeah, the Eagles might be a better team, but they're not playing their best ball right now.
They're not.
And Jalen Hurts with the injury, and then Jalen Hurts, I mean, the way he's played last 2 weeks, it's going to be hard for them to win the Super Bowl with the way he's playing.
Right.
Plain and simple. They might be able to do it. They're that damn good, right? That's how fucking good they are. But they're certainly making it a whole lot riskier with the fact that the passing game is so non-existent and not contributing to the football team. Like I said last week, with the Rams game, there was 131 plays in the game. I would say the Rams won 115 of them.
Right.
It's just when they lost them, it was 70 yards to the house or 50 yards to the house or 60 yards to the house. That was the big problem with the game, right? The Eagles are not playing their best, but maybe, 2 weeks playoff football, this is the week they get back on track and play their best ball. They're better than Washington. I'm going to pick them to win the ball game. I picked them 28-17, but I am definitely nervous about the confidence, the way Jaden Daniels is playing, and the Jalen Hurts and passing offense and the way it looks not so good lately.
Sometimes teams go on a run in the postseason, Chris. You've seen
right.
it. Like, you can't explain
That's
it, and all of a sudden the Giants are in the Super Bowl, It's like,
yes. But you're right. And then, teams that get hot, there's belief. And when you have a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, I say this to Florio a lot, just like Mahomes or Brady back in New England, the whole locker room believes because they go, wait, our quarterback can get us through anything, right? We might go down 10-0, but he'll get us back in it. We might blow him out. We got him. Who knows, right? So they're all like chest out, like, yeah, we feel good because we're hot and we got that guy at quarterback. So watch out.
Can you explain what that feels like for a team just to know that you're never out of a game because you have that guy?
I mean, I never got to
never
be,
had that guy. Yeah,
I
Chris
never
was
had
never that guy.
I
was
would
with Brady,
never.
though,
But I
guys.
had
He was
one
with Brady.
year
I mean,
of like. I will say 1 year, 2005, when we went to the playoffs and we lost to the Washington football team in the wild card round. We had 6 or 7 fourth quarter comebacks in that season.
Right.
And I can speak to, I don't know, I'm not saying I was looked at and they were like, oh, we got Sims, it's Captain Clutch time, watch out. But I know as a team, we were like, hey, we've been doing this all year. Them. Let's go down the field and score right here. Like, we didn't blink. It got to the end of the season. Even in the playoff game, we ended up losing. We were down 17-0, and we marched right back because we were just unfazed by it. We've been here. We've done that. We got the confidence that we can come back and do this in the big moments, and there is something tangible to that.
It is time for this week's edition of STU-YA-GOTZ, presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. NFL Conference Championship weekend coming up. 3-0-1 a week ago. 86-50-4 on the season. 7-2-1 postseason. Do it in the playoffs. I did. I've done it all year. This is a season for the ages. In fact, I maintain that no one has ever had a better gambling football season than the one I'm currently in right now. How about that? 2 games to go. Let's finish strong. Commanders, they're taking on the Eagles at Philadelphia. Commanders +6, buy it up to 6.5. Commanders cover. They win the game outright. They win by 4 and advance to the Super Bowl. Bills +1.5. They're taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. I have no idea what to do with this game. I'm lying. I know exactly what to do with this game. Take the Bills. The Bills go to the Super Bowl. They're taking on the Eagles. I'm pretty certain on the audio version of God Bless Football, I took the Chiefs. Good luck, everyone.